guys, how's it going? Well, do I have a surprise for you today? Because we have a special guest on this episode of Practice in Math. But our special guest needs a few supplies today. So first, I need to clean my hands with our special Leave a Sparkle Wherever You Go. Let me clean my hands first before I throw her stuff. Mrs. Justice needs some hand sanitizer. So here we go, Mrs. Justice. Yes! And next, she's going to need some Clorox wipes. So here we go. Very good. Thank you. Now, Mrs. Justice is going to be leading you in your practice today. And she's going to be explaining to you how to graph on the coordinate plane and how to name coordinates on the coordinate plane. So I hope you enjoy your time with Mrs. Justice today. And she is coming to you to give you some special breaking practice. Enjoy it today, guys.
Oh my gosh, what happened to you?
Oh my gosh, Mrs. Ellis, she threw me Clorox wipes and hand sanitizer, and I had to fight Carol Baskins for him. Oh, I gotta go take a nap. Oh.
Who's Carol Baskins?
That was so traumatizing. Mrs. Ellis, thank you so much for the Clorox wipes and for the sanitizer, but I think next time I'm just going to send somebody out for me. That was awful. Awful. Okay. I think I'm okay, though. All right. So, I'm so glad to be here as a special guest. I'm excited that I'll be able to be here with you pretty much every single week. And so, today what we're going to do some practice with coordinate planes and plotting points. But before we do that, I just want to review a little bit about what a coordinate plane is and the different parts of it. So when you have a coordinate plane, it is divided into 4 different sections, and those sections are called quadrants. So when we number them in a counterclockwise direction. So we start in the top right hand corner, and that is quadrant 1. Then we just slide over the y-axis, and that is quadrant 2. We slide down over the x-axis, and that is quadrant 3. And then we slide over the y-axis, and that is quadrant 4. So those are the 4 sections of the coordinate plane. We also, like I mentioned, we have an x-axis which goes across like this, and we also have a y-axis. With the x-axis, the numbers to the left are negative, the numbers to the right are positive. With the y-axis, the numbers that go up are the positive numbers, and the numbers that go down are the negative numbers. We also have an origin, which is right in the center of the coordinate plane, and that's at point 0, 0, and that is our origin. So that's just a quick review about the coordinate plane. We're going to do some practice with plotting the points here in just a minute, but I just wanted to give you that quick review. I'm so glad to be here, and I hope everybody's doing well and that you're staying safe, and I miss you all. All right, so we are ready for practice now. So if you look at this page, it says, label the coordinate plane above. Be sure to show the location of, and it gives us a bunch of different things. Well, I just talked about this, so it shouldn't be too bad for us to label them. All right, so quadrant 1, if you remember, I told you starts in the top right-hand corner. So right here, I'm going to put quadrant 1. And if you notice, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all written in Roman numerals. All right, so quadrant 2, remember, we're just going to slide over the y-axis, and we're going to put quadrant 2, and remember, Roman numerals. Then we slide down to quadrant 3, and then we slide over to quadrant 4. All right, So there are our quadrants. Now we have the x-axis. If you remember, I said that the x-axis goes across. So it's right here. This is our x-axis, this line here. Whoop, might help if I can spell it here. And then our y-axis goes up and down. So I'm going to label it here. And then if you remember, I said that our origin is right in the middle. It's at 0, 0. So I'll put a little point. It's right there in the middle. All right, so let's look at the next question. It says, what is 3, 4 an example of? So when you have the numbers 3, 4, any other numbers, they're in parentheses, there's a comma in between them, that is called an ordered pair. All right, in this ordered pair, I'm going to rewrite it. In this ordered pair, it wants us to label x and y. And like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the x is the first number, the y is the second number. So in this case, I would go over to the right 3 spots, and then I would go up 4 spots, and then I would plot my point. But we're going to do some practice with that here in just a moment. All right, so there's that. That's just a quick little review again. All right, so now we're going to move on to this right here. And this is where we are actually going to graph some points with different shapes. I'm not going to do the whole thing with you, but I just kind of want you to get an idea of what we need to do. All right, so let's go ahead. If you look at this first one here, it's like a little starburst, I guess. So the ordered pair is right here. It's 4, 6. So I'm going to go over to 4. I'm going to go up to 6. So you can see here's our little starburst. I'm kind of coloring it in. I'm not doing a very good job, but there it is. All right, so let's look. We have our next ordered pair. It's 7, 8. So I'm going to go over to 7. And I'm going to go up to 8. And if you notice, it's this little shape here. It's kind of like a little arrow. So I'm going to attempt to draw that. Okay, I didn't do a very good job, but there it is. All right, so for the next one, we can see this shape. Kind of looks like a stop sign. Anybody know what it's called? You remember? A hexagon. All right, so I'm going to look for the hexagon. So let's find it. All right, I see it right here. Colored in just so we can see here. All right, so I got to figure out what the ordered pair is. So I'm going to go over. So I go over, and it looks like I'm in between 2 and 4, so 3. And then I go up to 1. So my ordered pair, I went over first. It was 3 to the right, and then I went up 1. So that's my ordered pair. All right, so now let's look. Our next ordered pair is 10, 7. So let's go over to 10. Let's go up to 7. And notice what shape we have. We have a heart. Miss Ellis just sent me a text. You probably saw it on my screen. All right, next one here, we have a star. We're going to find our star. So if I go over, here's my star. I found it. So I'm going to go over to 10, and I'm going to go up to 2. So my ordered pair is 10, 2. All right, I'm just going to do a few more with you. I think you're probably getting the hang of it and all that. We'll do a few more. So now I have the ordered pair 8, 4. So I'm going to go over to 8. I'm going to go up to 4. And notice I have a little moon shape. So I'm going to try my best to do that. All right, there's my little moon shape. All right, now I'm going to find an arrow. So I see the arrow right here. So that means I'm going to go over to the right. looks like I'm between 12 and 14. So I have 13, and then I go up to 4. So 13, 4. And then the last one, I have 6, 1. So I'm going to go over to 6. I'm going to go up 1. And I kind of have this little shape here. And I don't think I'm going to do a very good job with it. But I'm going to try. So there we go. All right. So we're going to move on. And I'm going to do a few of these with you and then just kind of give you a reminder. And then that'll be all for our practice. All right, so let's look. I'm assuming over here that we have letter A. And then this would be letter F right here. All right, so let's plot these. We have A, so 1, 7. So I'm going to go over to 1 and I'm going to go up to 7 because they're both positive, and that is point A. All right, for B, I have 0, 5. This 0 is a little bit different because if I want to start on the x-axis, 0 means I just stay put. I can't go to the right, I can't go to the left. So I'm going to stay at 0, and then my second number, which is on my y-axis, I'm going to go up to 5. And I'm going to label it point B. Make sure you always label your points if they give you a letter to label it with. All right, for C, I have -3, 1. So once again, I'm going to start with my x-axis. So I'm either going to go to the left or the right first, always when I plot points. So in this case, I'm going to go to the left over to -3. I'm going to go up to +1, and that is point C. All right, point D, I have 2, -4. So I'm going to go to the right 2, and then because it's a negative, I have to move down to -4. And that's point D. All right, point E, I have -6, 6. So once again, I'm going to move left or right first. This case, I have to go to the left. I have to go over to -6. And then I have to go up to +6. And that is point E. All right, just a few more. I have -3, -2. Ooh, both of them are negative this time. All right, so I always go left or right first. So I'm going to go to the left, -3. And then I have to go down 2 spots. So that is point F. All right, point G, I have 7, 3. So I go to the right 7. I'm going to go up to 3. And I plot my point G. All right, point H is 0, -5. So same thing, when I have 0 as my X value, I can't go left or right. I have to stay right there in the middle. But then my Y tells me that I'm going to have to go down 5 spots. So I'm going to go to -5, and I'm going to go ahead and put point H. And one thing that we need to remember is if you have points that are on an axis, they are not considered within a certain quadrant. So for point B, that is on the y-axis. Point H is also on the y-axis. They are not in a quadrant. We can look at point G, that's in quadrant 1. We can look at point C, that is quadrant 2. Point F is quadrant 3, and point D is quadrant 4. But point B and H are on the y-axis. They're not within any certain quadrant. So they're not between 2 quadrants or anything. They would be labeled on the y-axis. So just keep that in mind if you ever have to tell what point a quadrant or what quadrant a point is in. All right, so we have 2 more points. We have point I, which is 4, -1. So I'm going to go to the right 4 and down 1. There's point I. And then point J is -2, -7. So I'm going to go over to the left 2. I'm going to go down, almost went to the wrong one, down to -7, and that is point J. All right, there. That's all for that one. This is kind of what I was talking about on this next one. We'll do we'll do maybe 2 or maybe about 2 of these. But remember, if a point is on an axis, that is what you put. You say it's on the x-axis or you say it's on the y-axis. It is not within a quadrant. All right, so let's just do a couple of these just kind of as review. So let's look at point A. We have 4, 3. So I'm going to go over to 4. I'm going to go up to 3. And that's point A. And then let's just choose, we'll do point G. We have -4, -4. So I'm going to go over to the left -4 and then down to -4. I'm going to put my point and it's point G. All right, so hopefully this practice has helped you a little bit. Remember, at any time, you can pause, you can go back and listen, anything like that. So for now, I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Ellis. So I hope you all have a great day.
Wow. Mrs. Justice, thank you so much. We are so glad you were here to help us today. I have been missing you so much. And I know not every class gets the enjoyment of having you and I together, but man, first period, they really, really have it made because they get to have you with me. And I mean, what could be any better than Mrs. Justice and Mrs. Ellis together? Like, that's the bomb diggity, right? Okay, well, you know, I know not everyone gets to have that luxury, but today, everyone, all of you got to have Mrs. Justice and Mrs. Ellis together. And that's the best. And I'm hoping from here on out, now that Mrs. Justice and I have put our brains together and figured this out, that we can do this. I'm really excited, guys. I really am. And we are having so much fun trying to plan this for you all. And all I want you to know is we love you and we want you to have fun learning math. Thank you, Miss Justice, for your hard work. I am so happy you wanted to help me, and I'm so happy that you kids are here to listen to us tell you about math. Now, for a small little recap about math, listen, guys, we're talking about the coordinate plane. And remember, it's divided into 4 parts, right? And we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now remember, you can only name them by using Roman numerals, okay? Remember, there's always an ordered pair. There's an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. That's really important to remember. And remember, all of your positive numbers, they're either up or when you're looking at the ordered coordinate plane, they're to your right. So they're either going up or to your right. And all of your negative numbers are going down or to your left. So all the negative numbers are down or to your left. So remember that, okay? It's really important for us to remember. And remember, when you're plotting, you always go X first. So you always go left or right first. And then you go up and down, okay? So I wish you luck on our practice. I think you'll do just fine. But remember, you always have multiple opportunities. And remember, I always look at your work. And if I think you need notes to help you remember what you did, I will let you know. And sometimes I even say, hey, go back and read what you did. Because sometimes it's just a silly little mistake that you did. But I'm here for you. And remember, all you have to do is send me a message and I will respond, I promise. I miss you guys and I cannot wait to see how you do this week. Good luck. Love ya. Mwah!